right, good evening everybody. We will get started in just a moment. Just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me and if we are streaming in 1080p. If that's the case, we will get started in just a moment. Thank you all for joining. All right, everybody, it looks like we are good to go. So welcome back to Walks and Wall Street. Today is December 26th, 2023, and I want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Obviously, yesterday, unfortunately, we were unable to do the live stream. I was a little bit under the weather. I'm feeling much better now, so thank you all for your well wishes. I think I just had a pretty nasty cold, but after a few days rest, we are almost back to 100%. So in absence of yesterday, I just want to wish the viewers, the team here, a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and just a big thank you for your viewership this year, for watching the streams, sharing the live streams, reading the newsletter, throughout 2023. I really do appreciate it. But for tonight, we're just going to be checking out the city. I want to see the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree, see how many people are out there ice skating for Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas, December 26th. Now, for the financial markets, things are probably going to be pretty muted going into 2024. And the reason why I say this is because the vast majority of the big players out there, right, and even many of you who are watching this live stream, are probably out of the office until January 2, right? Because obviously Christmas Day was yesterday, it landed on that Monday, and then the only business days we have is the 26th through the 29th, and then it's New Year's, right? This weekend is New Year's Eve. This Sunday, December 31st, is New Year's Eve, which is kind of wild to think about as we head into 2024. Another year has passed. So I think the volume on the exchanges are going to be pretty muted. I'm not expecting any crazy movement or price action in the market. If you look at the S&P 500 today, we did close up about 20 points. Volume was extremely lackluster for obvious reasons. We closed at 4774.74 on the dot, and a little bit off the highs. We closed mid-range of the day. Similar story here for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, or the Dow 30. We closed up about 159 points, well off of the highs for the day. The volume was muted across all exchanges. Again, closed up 159 points, closing at 37,545. And then last but not least, the NDX, or the NASDAQ 100, which is the very, very tech-heavy, high-beta NASDAQ 100, closing at a new all-time record high today, up about 101 points, closing at 16,878. Again, that's the NASDAQ 100, not the composite. But still, all indices closing well off their highs. I want to quickly take a peek at the VIX, which is the CBOE Volatility Index. Major move in the VIX. Now, just 2 days before Christmas, December 21st, which was that Thursday, we had a little bit of a spike in the VIX, all the way up to 14. Now we're back under 13 at 1298. We'll take a quick peek at the Dixie, and then we will see how crude oil is doing, and then we will kick this off So the dollar index is really testing support all the way back from February 2023, right at around 101. And I actually want to take you guys behind the desk here for a moment, because I think this is make or break time for the dollar. Let me just adjust the camera. All right, you should be able to see this. Now this is this is a daily time frame for the dollar, and what you'll notice is all the way back in September of 2022, we had this really quite drastic blow off top in the Dixie, trading all the way at 114, and we've come down quite substantially. Now it's an interesting correlation here, right? Because what happened in 2022 moving through 2023, right? Well, we started to have the markets recover some. And a strong dollar, generally speaking, right, is a little bit of a headwind for corporate earnings as it relates to companies that do business abroad or overseas, right? If you're a big multinational company like Apple or Microsoft that you do a lot of business abroad, well, you have to report your corporate earnings in US dollars. You're an American company. So as you go to exchange, right, those foreign currencies back to US dollars, well, when the dollar is relatively strong, you could buy a lot less dollars with your foreign currencies. So this is a pretty good reprieve with the dollar coming down here. Now, the question is, will we see the Dixie fall below 99 in 2024? I think yes. I have an interesting thesis as to why, but we'll discuss that a little bit later in the live stream. And maybe we will save that for the first edition of the Behind the Street newsletter in 2024. Last but not least, crude oil futures. Light crude oil futures, ticker symbol CL, trading at $75 a barrel, which is also a quite an impressive reprieve from the March 2022 highs of $130 a barrel, which is great because this is the holiday season. A lot of people are traveling, and Americans are paying a lot less at the pump than they did at the same time last year. All right, one more quick announcement before we head out, everybody. Go ahead and check your email if you have not already, because I sent out the last issue of our free investing newsletter, the Behind the Street newsletter. The final copy for 2023 should be in your inbox right now. And if you want to sign up to receive all of our equity research for free, if you scan the QR code on your screen and punch in your email every other Thursday when the market closes, you will receive our investing newsletter when we cover global macro, US equities, fixed income, real estate, and more. You do not want to miss that. We were talking about not only large cap stocks this week, but we really did a deep dive into small caps, like the IWM, which is the iShares Russell 2000 ETF. And we also talked about money market accounts, how in money market funds, according to Fed data, we have the most money ever on the sidelines from investors than at any point in history. If you want to take a look at this, this is pretty remarkable. This is a screenshot from the Federal Reserve's website. This is money market funds, total financial asset levels. We are about over $6 trillion in dry powder on the sidelines waiting to be deployed into the market in some way, shape, or form. So the question is, if this market has a material correction, right, who will be there to buy that dip, to redeploy capital into the marketplace, to reinvest into businesses, research and development, to drive innovation? Well, it seems as if there's going to be a pretty hefty pile of cash. So with that being said, let's go ahead and close up the laptop here, and we will get the stream started. Okay, we are currently reporting live from New York City's Billionaires Row, We'll just do a quick U-turn here and we will head all the way down to Rockefeller Center. But once again, if you want to receive that, our free investing newsletter, just go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen. But I see Buy the Book is here, Austin City Limits, Gary Carpenter, Vivian Francesca, D, what's going on? Good to see you. Sharon says, evening, Tom. Have you checked out the beam at 30 Rock yet? I have not. I've seen that though. It looks pretty cool. So at the top of the rock, I think there's some new attraction. I have not been up there in a really, really long time, but I would definitely be open to checking it out. Richard Vogel is here. Hopefully you had a very Merry Christmas. Happy holidays with you and your family. Sally's here. Leon Rex A says, hey Tom, hope you're doing well. What is Boxing Day? Now, I think that's the $1 million question. I actually don't know what Boxing Day. I don't think it's here in the US, but yeah, I actually honestly have no idea what it is. Daniel G is here from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Good evening, Tom. RB is here. Welcome, RB. Thanks for joining us on this very, I don't know, I'd say very blustery day, blustery night in Manhattan. Now, tomorrow it's supposed to rain almost all day, starting at 9 a.m. So if you're heading out tomorrow morning, definitely make sure you bring an umbrella because it's going to be pouring almost the entire day. But it kind of looks like it's going to start to rain any minute now. At least the clouds are moving in. I don't know. UniJ23, what's up? Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. And hopefully the very, very tail end of this year is going swimmingly for you. Dan Zhang says, hey Tom, how was your Christmas holiday? I'm taking the whole week off from work. Thank you for asking, Dan. My Christmas was really good. You know, unfortunately, I was sick. I wasn't feeling good at all the last 2 days, like at all. I was feeling really, really bad. But fortunately, I took pretty much the entire day to rest and relax. And now I'm feeling almost 100%. I'd say about 87% of the way to being 100%, which is good. So I kind of just stayed home. I just hung out by myself yesterday. But that's good news that you're sort of taking the entire week off. I'd assume that you're not alone. You know, many people sort of plan their schedules to take this entire week off, right? You only have 4 days, real 4 business days, and then you have the New Year's Eve, New Year's Day holiday. So I think as it relates to the financial markets, there's not going to be a whole lot happening, right? I mean, if you look at the volume on all of the exchanges today, it was pretty pathetic. It was pretty much nothing, right? So I think everybody is generally calling it a year. You know, 2023 is pretty much in the bag for most of us. So, Noah 1 says, I'm off until January 8th. Love that. Abdullah is joining us. What's going on? Ukrainian Royal says, Merry Christmas / Happy Holidays, Tom. Wow, your birthday was yesterday. Ukrainian Royal. Happy birthday to you, my friend. Thank you so much for the support this year. We appreciate it. Hopefully you had a very Merry Christmas and a very happy birthday. This is always a cool shot to get of 432 Park Avenue when the clouds start to roll in. We'll walk a little bit further down the block for a better view of it. Hey, Hawaii, what's up? This is Ola Tom. I'm glad you're feeling better. Yeah, you know, everybody that I was pretty much coming in contact with over the last 2 weeks was either sick, their kids were sick, they knew somebody that was, you know, unfortunately under the weather. So, I mean, it was only a matter of time before it hit me. So, hey, you know, what can you do? I mean, I must have drank at least 5 gallons of water, overdosed the vitamin C, vitamin D, and I was taking some medicine. So look, I'm almost 100%. I feel great. But you know, I'm gonna get to bed early tonight and get some rest. So, hey, Atif, what's up, man? Atif says, hey, Tom, glad to hear you're feeling better. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate your kindness very, very much. I am definitely on the mend. I mean, between yesterday and today, a night and day difference. Night and day difference. Especially with all of the like sinus congestion. Almost 100% gone, which is great. So I appreciate you very, very much. Dennis, as we be passing Radio City Music Hall tonight, yeah, I'm probably gonna head down that way. Check out, you know, what's going on in the city. You know, for Boxing Day, because obviously yesterday we were not able to do the live stream. It's garbage night in New York City too. Someone says, hey, Christmas is over. Is your next trend India? Well, I'm very bullish on India overall, but you know what I would actually advise to look at right now? As we are standing outside of 425 Park Avenue. Japan is doing very well. Japan is doing exceptionally well. I may expand on that a little bit further in a future newsletter, but if you look at I mean, Japan should be open right now, right? So look at the Japanese stock market currently. It's been performing well throughout the entirety of 2022 and 2023. And we're a few points away from all-time record highs in Japan. Now, the reason why that is significant is for the following reason. Japan has not yet hit a new all-time record high since the late 1980s, which is pretty remarkable, right? Now, yes, it's true that there are also a lot of negatives, I guess, as it relates to, you know, the aging population growth and the like, but I think it would be appropriate to do a little bit of research into the newer immigration laws in Japan. I think that's going to do wonders for the economy, and you're going to start to see a lot of manufacturing activity move away from mainland China. And there's two countries in particular that I think are going to benefit. Number one is India. I think India is going to benefit in a major way, right, from this reshoring of the supply chain, the diversification of the supply chain. And I think number two is Japan. I think Japan is going to benefit from that immensely. Lastly, as we walk past the Ferrari showroom here, right off of Park Avenue, which is very strategically placed, I've said this, and we've written about it. If you look at Dow theory, right, one of the many components to Dow theory is that if the Dow transports are breaking out above a key level or even into all-time record highs, it can be said that the market can be in a new uptrend. However, I think we could substitute the transports with the semiconductor ETF or the SOX. So today, I think this is a great example. If you type in ticker symbol SOXX into your Bloomberg Terminal, MarketSmith, or TradingView, we hit a new all-time record high today for the semiconductors, right? That entire sector. Man, this is a really cool view of 425 Park. Now, the reason why that's important and why it holds validity is for the following reason. If you think about the technologies that are going to drive much of the economic growth throughout the next really century, it's going to come from semiconductors. If you think about machine learning, AI, electric vehicles, right, EVs, that's all going to be powered by chips. So if the market is rewarding those stocks, well, the market is telling you that the demand for semiconductors is going to be very high going forward. This is looking directly down Park Avenue to the MetLife building. It's a pretty cool shot. It's kind of rare to see almost no cars down Park Avenue. But anyway, you know, if semiconductor stocks are acting well, I think we can comfortably say that the general market will continue to do well, right? Because without participation from semiconductors, I don't see how you can have a sustained new bull market. I just don't see it. I don't know, any thoughts on that? Hey, Joseph Hardaway, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Gary Carpenter, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. We're standing on the corner of East 55th Street, and you could just barely even see the top third of 432 Park now. That is how thick this cloud cover is as we get this storm that's going to roll through Manhattan. Unfortunately, it's going to rain all day, which kind of stinks. Leon says ASML, yep. That's one of the names, one of the semiconductor names. Carl says hello from Australia. Good to see you, Carl. Welcome. Hey, Western Mass Dave. Good to see you. Hope you had a very Merry Christmas. One of the things I like about these new builds of these Class A office towers is the ceiling heights in the lobbies are very, very tall. This must be, I mean, what, 50-foot ceiling heights? Huge. All right, let's head back to 5th and we'll check out the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. But I just want to give you all one more view of 432 Park. New Jersey Coast is, did you know Tom Cooper? I did not. I do not. Jonathan Richards says, hey Tom, hope you had a great Christmas. I did. Thank you so much, Jonathan Richards. I was a little bit under the weather, but I'm happy to be feeling better tonight. So hopefully you had a wonderful holiday as well. Hey, Jonathan from Florida says hello from Pompano Beach, Florida. Get well, Tom. Thank you. I see Estelle is here. Welcome. Good to see you, Estelle. Travelmista. Trucker says silicon and lithium. Yes. Absolutely. That's another potential interesting thematic investment for 2024, right? Potentially a lot of, you know, the rare earths, precious metals, particularly the ones that are going to be going into semiconductors, EVs, right? If you think about building a lot of these EV batteries and increasing their range. But last week, obviously, that I wrote about in the Behind the Street newsletter that I sent out to everybody, you know, even though, right, I did some back testing. I went back all the way to the 1950s on my computer to do some back testing of sectors that perform the best, sectors that perform the worst, and sectors that are market neutral, right, or essentially beta, you know, that match the market return. During election years, which unfortunately, I know, 2024 is an election year. It's going to be nauseating. I'm with you guys, trust me. I am with you. It's going to be a crazy, hectic year for that. But even though that software and computer technology usually performs the worst in election years, I still went out on a limb to say that the cybersecurity sector is going to be the best performing sector of 2023. Now, will I be wrong? Statistics show yes, and studies show yes. You know, because I guess you could group cybersecurity in with enterprise software, computer technology, but my thought process is the following. I've been on pretty much every single major cybersecurity company's earnings call, and I used to sell these products. And the demand has never been greater for cybersecurity assets. Hold on, I think we're gonna go into a buffer zone here. Usually right here outside of Trump Tower is a little buffer zone. But the demand has never been higher, and the demand for cybersecurity spending has never been higher. All while 2024, there's going to be more people trying to meddle in elections, hack critical infrastructure, not only of governments and local municipalities, but private businesses. So the spending, I believe, in Q1 and Q2 of 2024 to prepare, right, for what's going to come in November of 2024, you know, I think you're gonna have a huge pull forward in cyber spend. I don't know, what do you guys think? Agree, disagree? Hey Matt, it says good evening Tom and everybody, just got back from Virginia. Hope everybody has a very good Christmas holiday. Matt, happy holidays to you, Merry Christmas. Hopefully you had a fantastic one, and thank you for joining us here on the stream. I appreciate it very much, and wishing your family a wonderful 2024. Jonathan from Florida, thank you so much for your generous $10 donation. This is for the Get Well Fund. Yeah, maybe you could find some fresh Florida orange juice in New York City. Thank you so much, Jonathan. I appreciate it very, very much. This is looking northbound now on 5th Avenue. Alex R says allegedly biotech stocks are going to be big this year. Potentially, maybe. Now, I am horrible. I'm not the person to really talk to about biotech, because I think biotech is one of those sectors that you really, really need to have an edge. I mean, agree or disagree there. My background is tech and telecom, right? I have a very extensive telecommunications background and software background, right? But with biotech, particularly with a lot of these smaller names, you know, that are even pre-revenue, that are very dependent on one product, you really kind of got to be in the know, right? If you're a very small pharmaceutical company, or you're a small biotech company, and you're pre-revenue and you've gone public, and you know, maybe the your product is doing really well and it's going through clinical trials and it could potentially gain, you know, FDA approval, I'm not smart enough to know which drugs are going to get approval or not, right? I don't have a biology degree. I never worked in pharma, so I have no idea. So I've seen this time and time and time again, where you'll have this biotech stock that is all over the news, right? Everybody's talking about it. It's going to cure cancer. It's going to, you know, be the next weight loss drug. And then for some reason, it doesn't gain FDA approval, and one of its clinical trials goes wrong, and the stock goes to zero overnight. Now, why would the stock go to literally zero overnight? Well, because, you know, a lot, not all, but a lot of biotech stocks are very dependent on one or two products, and the products meaning drugs, right? One or two drugs. So I don't really trade those, just because I don't think I have an edge. I think I'm quite ignorant to which drug is going to do well, you know, what drugs are in demand in the marketplace. So I don't know. Anybody have a background in biotech or biotechnology? I mean, I've seen crazy money being made there, but I just don't have that expertise. All right, across the street is the Chanel store as well as Dior. I love the facades of these buildings. Dan Sang says, Tom, as a diehard fitness enthusiast, I hate that new Ozempic weight loss drug so much. Oh yeah, the Ozempic drug. So out of curiosity, why do you say that, Dan? That you don't like the drug? Is there a specific reason? Again, I don't really know anything about it. Is it dangerous to take, or sort of what is sort of your reasoning there? But if you are all enjoying the live stream so far, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these New York City walking streams almost every day starting at 8:30 p.m. And we'd love to have you along for the ride. This is a pretty cool view looking directly down 57th Street, New York City's Billionaires Row. Hey, Marvin says, good evening, Tom. What annoys me the most about Ozempic is the awful commercials. I've never seen an Ozempic commercial. Never ever seen one. Interesting. Let me catch up on some of the comments. Al Baker says, will gold hit 3,000 in 2024? I'm not sure. Something or somebody or some entity is holding down the price of gold. That thing will not break out. Carl Webster says, Tom, a lot of people are getting the generic versions, which are mainly sodium and are causing health issues. Huh. Weird. Dan Zhang says that thing will literally cut off all of your appetite for food, and once you are off of it, you will start to eat again like a madman. Wow. Yeah, I mean, see, I don't have any expertise in that, so I don't know. I would assume the total addressable market, right, or the TAM, which is, you know, what we talk about a lot. Because generally speaking, throughout history, stocks or companies who do fantastic in terms of their share price appreciation, the total addressable market is absolutely massive, right? And Ozempic, if you think, okay, what is the TAM, or the total addressable market for Ozempic? Very, very big, but especially in the United States, right? And in Western countries specifically. I won't buy it because I don't know anything about it. I'm very ignorant as it comes to pretty much all things like pharmaceuticals and drugs, things like that. This is the LVMH Louis Vuitton store. Very busy night here on Billionaires Row. Bree Grams, good to see you. Enjoy the decline. Says, did you ever watch American Psycho? I have not watched American Psycho. Interesting though. Zozo Bob, good to see you. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. I see Brad's brain in the chat. Brad, hope you had a fantastic holiday as well. Merry Christmas to you and your family. Let's head down 5th Avenue and check out the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. But look, I think these are good conversations to have, right? Particularly as we head into 2024, because one of the things that's, you know, fun to talk about as you head into a new year is what is going to be the next big thematic investment for the new year. I think it's going to be cybersecurity. Many people think it's going to be healthcare. It'll be interesting to see what it turns out to be. Usually it's always the most unlikely outcome is the answer. So we'll see. But if you want to read my 2024 prediction of the thematic investment, which I believe is going to be cybersecurity, you could scan the QR code on your screen, and it's going to bring you to our Behind the Street newsletter, which is our free investing newsletter that we write every other Thursday for the group here. This week we talked about small cap stocks in the Russell 2000. We talked about cybersecurity going into 2024. And we gave an exclusive view to our newest penthouse listing on 19th Street. So if you want to sign up to receive all of our equity research for free every other Thursday, just go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen and punch in your email. Now, if you look all the way in the distance here, it looks like they're already ripping down the holiday decorations at LVMH or the Louis Vuitton store. That's crazy, right? It's not even 24 hours after the holidays or after Christmas and they're already ripping that thing down. That's crazy. Anyway, let's continue on. We'll pass St. Thomas Church. Or if you can't scan the QR code, you could just type !news, NEWS in the chat, and the Nightbot will drop the link to our Substack, and you can just check it out there. This is the Trump Tower right across the street. Let's see how many tourists are still out on Fifth Avenue. Today was absolutely packed in terms of tourist activity in the city. I was the only one in the office, but when I went out to get lunch, so many people were out. It was pretty busy to see. Hey, Wendy England, good to see you. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Jefferson says, when do you think the layoffs will stop happening, especially in IT? When will the market return to normal in this sense? Well, Jefferson, I think it's a good question, and I think this is sort of the return to normal. I believe, right, and sort of that, my background is in tech, so I've sort of seen a full cycle go through. In my view, and this isn't to sound mean or without sympathy, but and feel free, if anybody else works in IT or tech in the chat, feel free to chime in the chat here. In my view, from 2013 running up all the way, I would say about 2 years post-pandemic, right? So 2022, 2023, the amount of corporate bloat in a lot of these enterprise software companies and pure play telecommunications companies was really, really remarkable. So I think that was fueled by artificially suppressed interest rates, or ZIRP, right? Zero interest rate policy. Because when money is cheap or money is free, artificially suppressed for prolonged periods of time, well, corporations tend to borrow that money, right, in obscene amounts, and they use it to buy back shares of their own stock. They use it to grow their businesses. And unfortunately, right, when times are good, there tends to be a lot of overlap in positions, because when everybody's making money, right, and there's no budget cuts anywhere, very seldom do managers, CEOs focus on operational efficiencies. Everybody always focuses on operational efficiencies when their companies aren't doing good, right? When profits are down. They're like, oh, profits are down, business is slowing. Let's look, what department can we cut from? What money can we move around here? It's sort of like that old saying, it's all funny when you're making money, but the moment the market changes, it's like we have to automatically figure out where we can cut. And I think we're at the very tail end of that cycle, right? To use Mark Zuckerberg's exact language, real quick, this is the Peninsula Hotel right here on the corner of 5th Avenue and East 55th Street. You have the Peninsula on one side and you have the St. Regis Hotel on the other. But to use Mark Zuckerberg and Meta as an example, does anybody know what 2023 was nicknamed at Meta? Does anybody know? On one of their earnings calls, Mark Zuckerberg actually told investors and shareholders that 2023 is going to be the year of efficiency at Meta. And they've laid off over 35% of their entire employees. And Meta seems to be doing great, right? So I would say I think this is the new normal. I think companies are getting rid of a lot of duplicity within the organization, and they're getting leaner and meaner, which could actually propel stock prices higher. I don't know, any thoughts on that? Agreements, disagreements? Because look, when you're talking about layoffs, it's a very touchy subject, and I don't want to come off as I'm being insensitive, because I'm not. But in a business conversation, that's what I perceive a lot of these managers, CEOs are sort of playing the field that way, right? It's horrible to see anybody get laid off. It's terrible, but I think that's what's happening in the marketplace. Hey, Michael Joseph, what's up? This is true. Supply and demand for labor is another cog in the economic engine. Michael Joseph, hope you had a very Merry Christmas, and thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. This is the very beautiful University Club here. NAV 0407 says, I disagree that Meta is doing great. We could disagree on that. I don't necessarily agree with everything Zuckerberg does, but now, speaking of Mark Zuckerberg, is it true that he's building like a crazy underground bunker in Hawaii? I don't know if that was fake news or not. Somebody sent me an article about that. Gene 1649 says, hope the housing market and interest rates get better. Brad's Brain says, the business world is built on negativity in many ways. Trust me, the jobs your bosses recognize are the losers, never the winners. It's the nature of business, says Brad's Brain. Dave S says, where in Manhattan was the anti-Christmas protest yesterday? Anti-Christmas protest? I have no idea. Did I read that right? Hold on. Where in Manhattan was the anti-Christmas protest? We will see a lot of promises be made. Opportunities. Vinny says it's true, he's building a $100 million bunker. Wow. Anyway, who knows? Excuse me. But if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, you can feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We do these live streams almost every day starting at 8:30. Tours between staying in Trump Tower and a hotel. Between staying in Trump Tower. Well, if you're talking about One Central Park West, the Trump International Hotel and Tower is a very nice hotel. It stands at One Central Park West, which is just north of the Deutsche Bank Tower at Columbus Circle. That is a very expensive hotel. I believe per night it starts at $1,000, I think. But that's a very expensive hotel. It's one of the many 5-star hotels in Manhattan. Okay, this is St. Thomas Church. Absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous church here on 5th Avenue. Just the architectural detail is quite amazing here. RB, this is Tom. He says, will the lawsuit be one to get Apple to respect patents? I don't know. I'm a little bit torn on that. I don't really know what my opinion is. However, I think Tim Cook and the team at Apple, they're very, very smart people, and I believe that they knew what they were doing, right? And this relates to the Apple Watch patent, I believe for the pulse ox technology, right? And apparently Apple has had to remove their Apple Watches from stores for purchase, right? Now, many people are saying, is this just an outright egregious patent violation? Did Apple just copy this company's technology? Now, I don't know, but I guess I'll just say allegedly, right? Allegedly. I mean, think about the people who were in product design and product development at Apple. These are some of the smartest people in the world, okay? And that's not, you know, being over dramatic about it, okay? These are some of the smartest engineers, the most capable people in the entire world. And I think that they knew what they were doing. I think that they said, look, we come in a position of power here where we have billions and billions and billions of dollars of cash on the balance sheet. Should this little, you know, pissant company want to come after us, right? I'm sort of talking in Apple's voice. I don't believe this, but this is probably what they believed. You know, want to come after us for this patent violation, we'll just settle and give them a couple, you know, maybe like $500 million to $1 billion and call it a day. That's what I believe, right? Now, I'm not saying that's what happened. That's what I believe Apple sort of did, right? They knew that they had the upper hand to just go forward with this. And they would have probably, that fine or the fee that they could probably have to pay is going to be a lot less than if they did a partnership with the company, right? I don't know. Who agrees or disagrees with that? Because if Apple came to this company and says, hey, we want to license your technology, right? Over the duration of that deal is probably worth a lot more than $1 billion or even 500 million. So, I don't know. That's sort of my thought process around it. Okay, I wanted to turn down 53rd Street really quickly because I wanted to show everybody one of the most overlooked buildings on Billionaires Row, which is 53 West 53rd Street, also called the MoMA building. As you can see, MoMA is right here, the Metropolitan Museum, or Museum of Modern Art. I'm trying to figure out why they moved this. Or maybe it just looks different. I think it's just the glare, actually. For some reason, I thought they moved the check-in kiosks. Anyway, I guess it doesn't matter. But right across the street from the Charles Schwab right here is the entrance to 53 West 53rd, which is a very, very exclusive building with its own restaurant. This is also one of the buildings on Billionaires Row, even though it is technically not on 57th Street. They include it in the Billionaires Row agenda, if you will. Hey, MBA Elias, hopefully you're well. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and Happy New Year to you and your family. Joan K is here, says I absolutely agree. Hey, Penelope, good to see you. Abdullah, welcome. NAV 407, what's up? NYC Home. Yeah, I mean, look, at that level, it's like, you know, if regulators look at this, which hopefully the regulators are, right? They're gonna kind of get that vibe as well to say, look, Apple's a massive company, it's huge. Within our lifetime, it could very well possibly be a $7 trillion company, Apple, right? At what point do you classify that as a monopoly? Because at some point, you're gonna technically have unlimited money. And when you have unlimited money, that really stifles competition because you can just buy out your competitors or just crush them. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Hey, Juan Fernandez, what's up? This is where are we at? We're at the front entrance of 53 West 53rd. This is the MoMA building and a very luxurious condominium tower here in New York City. And they have their own restaurant, 53, which also caters all of the tenants in the building 24/7, which is pretty cool. You can even see the dining room if you look down here. Doesn't look like very many people are dining. Looks like you have one guest over to the left. 1234 says those are condos. Yes, they are. It's technically not... It is one of the main iconic buildings on New York City's Billionaires Row, but it's just not on 57th Street, right? So Billionaires Row starts all the way on the east side of Manhattan, where we were just starting our live stream, right? At 432 Park Avenue. And then it goes west to the Steinway Tower, which is 111 West 57th Street. And then if you go one building over, it's 157, which was developed by Extel, which is the first building ever, by the way, to be constructed on New York City's Billionaires Row. One building over from that is yet another building that was constructed by Extel, which is Central Park Tower. And then in front of there is a Vornado project, which is 220 Central Park South. Those are the main buildings on Billionaires Row, 57th Street. But then right here, the building I just showed you, is sort of the outcast, the outlier, that sits on 53rd Street. You know, I love the facade of this building. Look at this. What do you guys think of the facade here? It kind of looks like crystal. It looks like a crystal facade. Very unique. Now, speaking of very incredible and luxury real estate, we just acquired a brand new project at 435 West 19th Street, which is adjacent from the Lantern building that sits right on the High Line. So that very famous Lantern building that kind of looks like lanterns right on the High Line. We are launching a project and taking over sales directly adjacent to that. And we just filmed an exclusive behind the scenes property tour of the penthouse on West 19th Street. It's an unbelievable full floor unit. You have your private elevator that takes you up into your full floor, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom. I mean, the views are insane. If you want to see it, and let me know what you think, if you scan the QR code on your screen, it'll take you to our investing newsletter. And every other Thursday, at the very, very bottom of the newsletter, I include a property tour of one of our newest listings. And on Thursday, I included a tour of the full floor penthouse right on the High Line, with breathtaking views of all of the Hudson Yards, the Empire State Building, Midtown Manhattan. It's just an incredible property. And let me know what you think. So if you scan the QR code and punch in your email, you'll be signed up to receive all of our newsletters going forward. And again, at the very bottom is the segment about our New York City luxury real estate holdings. So feel free to check it out there. All right, now we are gonna head down 5th Avenue, and hopefully we'll be able to check out Radio City Music Hall, Saks Fifth Avenue, and the Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center. Let's see. NYC Homes is Tom, me and the family are taking a trip to the Hamptons and the city and are looking for a good hotel in Manhattan that has smaller rooms since we need to book 2 separate rooms. Do you know of any? Yes. If you send me an email, I can send you a list of good options that I think you would like. However, if you're staying, I think maybe you've already said how long you're gonna stay, but depending on the length of your stay, my recommendations are gonna change. So, but yes, short answer is yes, I have some recommendations for you. Hey, Lori Crockett Owens, good to see you. Hey, Tom and everybody. Hopefully you had a very, very Merry Christmas. All right, let's continue to head down. NBA Elias is Tom, living 10 minutes from Apple headquarters. Nothing ever gets past the company. They know exactly what they are doing. They borrowed the GUI tech from Xerox in the 80s. Yeah, I mean, I think you're spot on. Obviously, we can't come out here and say that on live stream, but yeah, that's, you know, if I had the, you know, if there was a gun to my head and someone said, what do you think happened? That's what I think happened. Apple could throw their weight around, and it kind of reminds me of the investment banks, right? When they get in trouble for spoofing the metals market. Now, this isn't a conspiracy. You could look this up for yourself. One of the biggest culprits in terms of major investment banks who always get fined for spoofing the metals market, essentially manipulating the price of silver, gold, is JP Morgan Chase and the French investment bank, BNP Paribas. And essentially they can manipulate the metals market through the paper derivative, right? So SLV, GLD, these are the derivative of the actual asset, right? And essentially they've been able to, and quite successfully, spoof the precious metals market. Now you may be asking yourself, oh, that's a really nice Tesla taxi. Let's get a closer look at that, actually. I think that's a Tesla Model S taxi. It's nice. Now, you may be asking yourself, well, if they constantly get fined, you know, for spoofing the metals market, you know, why do they constantly do it? Well, I guess it's the cost of doing business, right? If you can make, you know, let's say $100 million doing it, and you only have to pay a $25 million fine, well, I guess it's the cost of doing business. So potentially here, what could be going on is Apple is doing the same exact thing, as MBAI has said. So let's go around the block here by the Ferragamo store. See the Cartier store to the right. Oh, is that a Model 3? It wasn't the S? Got it. I always get the 3 and the S confused. All right, this is a little bit of a shortcut. If we go to Madison Avenue and we make a right, we could avoid some of the crowds. All right, let's make a right here. But one more thing I wanted to note, and I was looking at this trend again today. I want you to take a look at two ticker symbols in particular. So number one is KKR, right? And number two is GS for Goldman Sachs. So KKR pretty much, I mean, big powerhouse in private equity, right? GS, Goldman Sachs, pure play investment bank. So why are we looking at these two tickers? Well, if you think about what happened to private equity and public markets, right? So IPOs, SPACs, we may have talked about this, but I forget, so I guess we'll just cover it again. If you think about what happened to private markets and public markets during the recent bear market we had, right, throughout 2022, well, I mean, public and private markets were pretty much at a gridlock, essentially dead. And prior to that, Goldman Sachs had its best year on record in 2021 for obvious reasons, right? All of that pandemic stimulus, artificially suppressed interest rates, fiscal and monetary policy being extremely lax, drove what I believe was the biggest free-for-all frenzy in deal-making in Wall Street history, particularly for initial public offerings, but most notably in the SPAC market, which is the special purpose acquisition company market, right? That's another way to go public. And when the Federal Reserve started to raise interest rates from pretty much zero, right? Coming off a decade of artificially suppressed interest rates to now normalization of interest rates. Let's just move away from the balloon guy here for a minute. The deal-making market absolutely shut off, right? No SPACs were going public, and the SPACs that were public, pretty much the majority of them went to zero, or they're trading well under $1, right? Because we've covered how most of the SPACs were frauds. We've covered that ad nauseum. But when companies are dealing with higher rates of debt and the market is in a correction, investors are a lot less likely to part ways with their cash and bring companies public. So now, the reason why I'm watching the price action in KKR's stock and Goldman Sachs is because if you think about the stock market, it's usually forward looking by 6 months. And Goldman Sachs is trading back above a 52-week high, and KKR is all the way back to all-time record highs, which tells me that potentially, now again, it's not a done deal, but it's very, very possible that 2024, the public and private markets could quite literally boom again, right? 2024 could be a great year for deal making on Wall Street. Could be a great year for IPOs. Unfortunately, it could be a great year for SPACs because the market is pricing in interest rate cuts for next year. Now again, I don't know if that's going to happen, but you can kind of start to see deals getting done again. And there was a drastic drawdown in earnings at Goldman Sachs from 2021 to 2022. And that was because, well, how does Goldman Sachs get paid? They get paid off of the fees, the fee income, the advisory fees from taking these companies public. So I think this is a trend we need to watch. I would be very, very laser focused here on keeping my ear to the ground. What deals could be getting done, what companies are going to be coming public, and even look in the M&A market for some M&A pickup. Although the government squashed the Figma deal, anybody hear about that? The Figma Adobe, which is unfortunate, right? Because, you know, a lot of the founders and employees were going to be getting a pretty hefty payday on that Figma deal, but I think regulators shut that down. So anyway, Michael Joseph's May is predicted the first cut. We'll see. I just hope that Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell doesn't make a critical mistake in cutting too early, and then we have a second wave of inflation. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Vinny says, Tom, have you ever read the book Plunder? Paints private equity in a very poor light. I have not read it, but I'm going to take a screenshot of this comment, Vinny, because I will read this. Thank you so much for the book recommendation. If anybody else has any interesting recommendations, let me know. I would love to take a look at it. I know, Brad's brain says don't get locked in. Hilarious. Hey, Colton Manning is here. What's going on? Good to see you. Hopefully you had a very Merry Christmas. Our good friend JK is here. Says, I used to work at Goldman Sachs, but now trade my own portfolio. Very nice. Juan Fernandez is having a little bit of a holiday hangover. I get it. But JK and Juan Fernandez, hopefully you both had a fantastic holiday. Chris Tompkins, thank you so much for your very generous $10 donations. Says, hey Tom, we spent all year talking about the CRE apocalypse in big cities. Now that it's your end, what's your prediction for next year's new normal? How will transit survive with such low use? Well, I think that's a good point. And I think that you're already starting to see a lot of this CRE apocalypse materialize. Just look at a lot of the, what's the word? The auction sales, right, that are going on. If you actually want to watch one live, I'll give you a name of an exact building. Check out 5 East 59th Street, okay? I believe January 14th is when the public auction of that building is going to be going on. And there was about $85 million worth of bad debt on that building. It's totally vacant. But you're starting to see something interesting in Manhattan, right? It's sort of like a two-tier society market. CRE, commercial real estate, at the very, very, very high end, the very, very top end. I'll give you a couple examples. I'll name some buildings. 425 Park Avenue, 1 Vanderbilt, and the Hudson Yards. Soon to be 270 Park. Those buildings are actually achieving blowout record lease dollar amounts in Manhattan. Like ridiculous dollar amounts for their leases. Because people want to downsize into Class A office towers. Now, a lot of the stuff that's going under right now, going belly up and bankrupt, are these older style, 1980s, dilapidated and outdated commercial buildings, which are either going to be torn down once demolition costs come down, and they're probably going to build brand new, or they're going to try to do condo conversions. So, I think we're already starting to see that play out. If you want to watch one play out in real time, again, I believe on January 14th is going to be the public auction at 5 East 59th Street. So check it out. And maybe you'll see a familiar face bidding on the building. All right, so now we're inside the New York Palace. Let me look to see the second part of the question. Chris Tompkins says, and how will transit survive such low use? Well, in my view, if the city solves the crime issue, people will be more comfortable taking the subway. And then I think that problem will sort of solve itself. But on a larger scale, there needs to be real accountability for the MTA, because that is probably the most egregious run organization in the world. So much waste, it's disgusting. And we could do 2 full 3-hour live streams just talking about how mismanaged the MTA is. But unfortunately, I don't think we have time to do that. Look, if people feel comfortable to take the subway, they will. Generally speaking, they will. But the city shouldn't strong arm the citizens into taking the subway by giving them no other choice, right? By charging them $15 just to come into the city due to the congestion pricing and the like. I think that's the wrong way to go about it. Yeah, Gary Carpenter says demolition costs won't come down anytime soon. I mean, maybe not. Maybe not. I've worked on some projects where, it's cheaper just to demo the whole building than it is to do the condo conversion. It just depends. All right, let's head out here. I don't want to be too loud, but it's beautiful in there in the New York Palace. I don't want to disrupt everybody's holiday cheer with the CRE doldrums. Yeah, MBA Elias says congestion pricing is just another tax. I agree with that. I'm very against the congestion pricing. There's many viewers who are for it, and I respect that opinion. I do. Many of you have sent me very compelling emails about being in favor of the congestion pricing, which I get and I appreciate. But look, I respect the disagreement, and I respect your opinions on it. Because look, at the end of the day, maybe you're right. Maybe the congestion pricing is a good idea and I just can't sort of see through my own bias. That's also a possibility. So, but as of right now, I think that it's just an added tax on the citizens to make up for the derelict abusers of the system, so to speak. That's my view. Doesn't mean I'm right. Hey, Dusty Cole, what's up? Welcome to the New York Palace. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. All right, let's head out here and try to go around the block. Oh, before they lock it. That's so funny. Brad's brain said, don't get locked in. We almost did get locked in. It's so funny. But yeah, I think $15 is just a little bit too high to charge somebody on a toll every day. That's a little high. I don't know. Anyway. All right, let's go down to 49th Street and let's make a right. Someone says London has congestion pricing, and they were weary and are used to it. New York City will as well. If you want to drive to work in New York City, someone says if you want to drive to work, New York City isn't for you. It's an interesting take. But I mean, think about, like, respectfully, I'll push back a little bit. Like, think about how arrogant that sounds, right? If you want to drive to work, New York City isn't for you. Like, according to who, right? According to you, in your opinion? You know, I don't drive, right? I don't even own a car. I think it's more convenient to get around with the train. But I don't want to impose my beliefs on everybody else, right? And everybody has very different situations, right? Some people come from New Jersey. They have their kids in school here. They use their vehicles for their work. You know, think about all the small mom and pop businesses, the HVAC companies, the plumbers, you know, the electricians that have their small businesses in Jersey or Long Island or, you know, in the city that come in to do their jobs in Midtown Manhattan, right? Are you saying they should haul all of their equipment on the train? I don't know. Again, I respect the opinion, and maybe in the end it'll work out like you say. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. But who knows? Okay, this is Saks Fifth Avenue. See how crowded it is. Hey Laytha, what's going on? Good to see you. Laytha says the plumbers and electricians are just going to pass those costs on to the customers. Oh, for sure, yeah. So in essence, it's not only the drivers that are going to be paying the congestion tax, we're going to be paying it inadvertently through higher prices. That's another really good point, right? So if you call your plumber, it's very possible that on your bill, it's going to say like an added $15 service charge. And many people will just pay it, probably. All right, here we are on the corner of East 49th Street and 5th Avenue. We're looking at 30 Rockefeller Center right now. These are the main windows at Saks Fifth Avenue. Hey, Carl Roth, what's up? This is Tom Plumbers. Markets will create competition, brings down pricing. Maybe. Hey, Carl, it's good to see you though. Hopefully you and your family had a wonderful Christmas holiday. Wishing you a very happy New Year as well. Cynthia J says, Tom, the city has been planning for some time now to cut off the amount of cars in the city so people could use more public transportation. That is a fact. I was in one of those meetings. Nice. Dan C says, I was in New York City today traveling in a car. The traffic on 5th and 6th Avenues were insane. Yeah, I mean, I could imagine. I mean, guys, look at this. I don't even want to go across the street because look at all the people over there. I mean, they're packed in like sardines. I don't even know if I want to go over there, but wow, look at that, guys. Huge. It's just like a sea of people. Hey, Mars Tech, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. That is a lot of people. Crazy packed. I guess it's good to see, right? The tourists coming back to the city. I just think it's a little bit too hectic for me. Hey, Smee Media says, Tom, what meals did you enjoy yesterday? I wasn't feeling too good yesterday. I didn't really do anything. I just kind of hung out by myself. Yeah, unfortunately I didn't. I was really sick yesterday. I'm feeling better today, but Carl Waltz says, Tom, Times Square will be crazy but good. Maybe we'll check it out later. We'll see. I kind of want to see this thing one more time before they take it down, though. We'll watch this thing one more time and then we'll head out.
right, now let's head out of here. I think this is one couple too many people for me, I think. Let's go down Madison Avenue, I think. What's up, Dale? Good to see you. Kristen, welcome. All right, let's go back to Madison and down. I don't think we're going to be able to see the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree tonight. Just way too many people. Which is good for the city, I guess, but I don't know if I have the mental fortitude for that tonight. Maybe tomorrow, we'll see. NYC home. This is Tom. Why don't you go to Lower Manhattan more often? Well, there's a few reasons for that. My office is here, 57th Street in Madison. And pretty much I'm working all the way up until when we go live, right? And the past 3 weeks have been very busy. So I usually just turn on the live stream right when I get out of work, which is usually around 8:30, right? We start streaming at 8:45, 9. So, but yeah, I definitely do want to explore Lower Manhattan a bit more often, but it's just work has been very crazy. All right, now speaking of commercial real estate in New York City, this is 270 Park, Jamie Dimon's brand new office tower. Hey Emmanuel, what's up? Hopefully you had a very Merry Christmas. This is Tom. What is the best part of your job? I think the people I get to meet and work with on the buy and sell side. It's been very, very good for building a really, really solid network of people. So I would say that interesting people from all different walks of life. And you know what? It's allowed me to network with family offices a lot more. And that is a whole other world that I've really never been exposed to before in terms of a business relationship ever, which is great. Those heavy equipment operators. Now, speaking of family offices, our team was pitching to take over the project at 1 Wall Street. And Dalman, who is a very, very big Saudi family office, right? who runs the money for the prince, royal family in Saudi Arabia. They own a majority controlling stake in that project at One Wall Street. Unfortunately, we didn't get the deal, but it was cool to be able to have that exposure, right? All right, I got to plug in my phone here. Because let's say down the road, maybe in 10 years, right? I want to raise money for my own fund, right? Or I see a deal that could be very lucrative. You know, I pick up the phone, I make a few calls. If you build a big network, right? And you could have, you know, some very good partners to work with. And I think that's what business is all about. It's about building a very, very robust Rolodex, or a very, very big network of people that you could do deals with and the like. All right, hold on one second. I'm gonna put you guys down, but if you're enjoying the stream so far, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We usually do these streams every day starting at 8:30. All right, we should be good now. This is the Waldorf Astoria. They've completely gut renovated the building. Now, I've heard rumors that they were having some major issues with the renovation, which makes sense because it's such an old building, right? Whenever you try to do, you know, major renovation and flip around floor plans, I mean, the plumbing is so old, you could possibly have asbestos in the building, so it's very difficult. Hey, Bill Rollins, good to see you. This is good evening. What's up? Hopefully you had a very Merry Christmas. I know, Juan Fernandez is Tom. They're building a Waldorf in Miami on Biscayne. I'm very excited for that project. Now, you know what else I'm excited for? I'm excited for the Bentley Design Tower in Sunny Isles Beach. That is going to be fantastic. We're actually having some of the people from the sales team there in our office in a couple weeks. They already sent out their pamphlets and everything. The place looks really cool. Now, Sunny Isles Beach is just north of Haulover Inlet, for those of you who may be familiar with South Florida. And they call the neighborhood Little Moscow. JCF says, what's the best Marriott property in Midtown? I think their flagship property is the best. I believe that is right next to the Alliance Bernstein building. Excuse me, that's the Hilton. Sorry, I was thinking about the Hilton. Marriott, I'm not too sure. I would say the JW Marriott Essex House. Oh, look at this. You guys see that? The construction workers have TVs there so they can watch the game. It's so funny. Wow, Juan Fernandez is Tom. I work in a clinic in Hollandale Beach. You worked in Aventura as well. Wow, in the ER, dude. God bless you. That's like God's work. Thank you so much, Juan Fernandez. Appreciate it. Oh, look at this shot. This is cool. With the American flag waving. Ah, that is a good quote, MBA Elias. It says, don't wait to buy real estate and wait. Quote from Will Rogers. Now, 2023, we lost some very, very notable investing legends. Now, 2 newsletters ago, I sent this out. Lessons from investing legends that we lost in 2023. I would say one of the most iconic real estate icons of all time passed away this year. Sam Zell, the great contrarian. Now, the story of Sam Zell is really remarkable. I mean, that guy is essentially the textbook, American dream story. Starting from nothing. His family fled the Holocaust. Just literally a few days before the Nazi invasion, came to the United States. He built this massive real estate empire of buying distressed assets, right? There's a lot of really good interviews with Sam Zell on YouTube you could watch too. And then obviously William O'Neill, right? William J. O'Neill, the founder of Investors Business Daily, the newspaper that sold to News Corporation for I think $275 million before he passed. So now News Corp controls the Wall Street Journal, Barron's, and IBD. And then obviously last but not least, Charlie Munger, right? Those are 3 big losses in the investment business, for sure. Hey, TD, good to see you. That's an interesting name for alcohol, Screwball. In the investing world, but Hollywood, Nashville, and politics. We're gonna go inside the MetLife building, check out the inside of Grand Central Station, or Grand Central Terminal. Juan Fernandez, Tom, thoughts on Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. I like the book. Yeah, that's really my thoughts. I like the book. I like it a lot. Now, we were talking about commercial real estate a lot today on the live stream, which reminds me, I'd like to recommend a book to everybody. I think I've recommended it before, but might as well recommend it again. It's called What It Takes. The book is called What It Takes by Stephen Schwartzman. Obviously, you think of Stephen Schwartzman, right? You think of Blackstone. Great book. Phenomenal book. Now, Stephen Schwartzman made the majority of his money in LBOs, or leveraged buyout deals. That book is a very, very good blueprint for how he built his empire. So if you're interested in private equity, that's a very, very good book. Very, very good book. What It Takes by Steven Schwartzman. Very good. Marvin says, Tom, the Chinese have been getting into whiskey distilling. Check it out. I will check it out. Good to see you, Marvin. Hopefully you had a great Christmas. MBA Elias says, Tom, did you see the Wall Street Journal article regarding high-income earners becoming renters? I did not see that, but I would love to read that. If you can post the link in the chat, I would love to see that. I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of wealthy people rent their primary residences for mobility, particularly in this world, right? Where it's essentially the more nimble you could be and the more flexible you could be, the better. I know a few people like that, particularly people that do, they do snowbird, like they live 50-50 Miami, New York City, or bi-coastal, right, California, New York. But then they'll rent, really nice apartments, right? Spend $12,000 to $15,000 a month on rent, sign a 2-year lease, and then just move around and get the best product on the market. Hey, Ross is here. What's up? Hey, Alan. This is Happy Christmas, Tom. Loved your streams. Thank you so much, Alan. Appreciate it very much. Hopefully you had a wonderful Christmas as well. I'm wishing you a very, very happy New Year. JC says, Tom, have you read The Sovereign Individual? I have not. What is it about? I'll check it out, though. I'll absolutely check it out. Another good book that's good to read heading into the new year, right, to kind of set yourself up for success, is Mark Benioff's book. I try to go back and read that every now and then. That's a really, really good book. It's called Trailblazer by Mark Benioff. Trailblazer. Joel PM says renting allows more of your cash flow into equities. At least that's why I do it. Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to be very mobile, right? If you want to be very nimble and mobile. Joel PM, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining us today. MBA Elias says, I recommend Atomic Habits. That is a fantastic book. I think that book had probably one of the most profound impacts on my life, honestly, Atomic Habits. That is a phenomenal book. If you read that book, okay, I will make you a promise. If you actually read that book, Atomic Habits, and you apply it consistently for 6 months, right? Not deviate from it, not, half-ass it, do it a little bit. But if you actually apply it, your life is going to change in a massive way in 6 months. I mean, unless you're doing something like so egregiously wrong and you're inept. I mean, that is like the framework, right, for success. And it's an obvious framework, right? I kind of think about it like duration risk in the debt market, right? In the bond market, right? Your duration. The thing is, most people generally tend to give up on something without sticking it out for a long duration. Or a revenue model at like a SaaS company. It starts off dormant for long periods of time, and then it just get out and be consistent over long durations. It's a really good book. Let's actually head up and out because I gotta go this way anyway. But I think the big themes for tonight, which we sort of covered and talked about, are, thematic. The big themes of the thematic investing conversation about biotech, right? Which I really sort of stepped out of that conversation. For me, I think the biggest thematic investment for 2024 is going to be cybersecurity. Even though that after our back testing of data, it shows that enterprise software and computer software are actually the worst performing sectors during election years. And 2024 is an election year, but I think there's some interesting catalysts there. What else did we talk about? Oh, we talked about an interesting bull thesis for Japan. I'm very bullish India, and I am very bullish Japan. Japan should be open right now. So if you pull up the Japanese indice on your Bloomberg Terminal, MarketSmith, or TradingView, I want you to zoom out to a monthly time frame, right? And look at that massive base that is forming in Japan. The Japanese stock market has not hit a new all-time record high since the 80s. And I think we will hit new all-time record highs in Japan in 2024. But I will leave it off here. I appreciate everybody joining the live stream so far tonight. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like on the video. And click the subscribe button if you're new, if you want to sign up to receive our free investing newsletter. We send it out every other Thursday after the market closes. We write about global macro, US equity market, fixed income, and the New York City real estate market. Go ahead and scan the QR code on your screen and it will take you to our Substack. Just punch in your email, and every other Thursday after the market closes, you will receive all of our research for free, as well as access to all of our archived research going back 2 years. So everybody, we'll see you right back here live tomorrow, live from New York City. Andy, I appreciate it. Nanny, Wendy, England, Hawaii, take care. Merry Christmas to you. Vinny, MBA Elias, thanks so much. All of our moderators, Layda, Chris B, Joseph Hardaway, Joel PM, NYC Home, Dusty Cole, Gary Carpenter, Sally, Western Mass Dave, D. There's always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look. I'll see everybody right back here live tomorrow from New York City. Take care.